Yeah. ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव। ओम गुरुदेव भगवान शिव शंकर भोलेनाथ कैलाशपति महाराज की जय। भगवान व्यास जी महाराज की जय। शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय। स्वामी चिन्मयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी दयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी प्रबुधानंद भगवान की जय। माता पिता की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। स्वामी शुद्धानंद भगवान की जय। साध्वी आनंद ज्योति जी की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता, and yesterday we started Dhyan Yoga. Meditation, chapter 6 and verse number 1 we are going to study today. We discussed about the two sadhanas, Bahiranga sadhana and Antarang sadhana. Antarang sadhana is when we, Bahir sadhana is all the actions done outside in the creation, and Antarang sadhana is sadhana done in mind, or let us say sadhana done through mind. This will be cleared by Swamiji in his description later. So sadhana, the dhyan is nidhi about Brahma, about Saguna Brahma. Is Antarang sadhana, not Bahir sadhana. It is Antarang sadhana. And when continuously sadhana is done on Brahman, and first it is done on Saguna Brahma, everything is Brahman, Nirguna Brahma, then sadhana is done on Nirguna Brahma, Nididhyasan, meaning Swarupa Dhyana. Nirguna Brahma means doing dhyan on the Brahman who is bas, who is, what is not there. Objects are no more. There is no object left. That is Nirguna Brahma. when nothing else, only Brahma is. Brahma is, and only Brahma is भी नहीं है. That is Swarup Sadhana. Nirguna Brahma. This we discussed Nididhyasan. This is Nirguna. When you meditate on a Nirguna Brahma, it is Nididhyasan. Now Bhagwan says the external means Karma Yoga. He is on the first verse, he is going to discuss on Karma Yoga. To introduce the internal means Dhyana Yoga. Now we will recite the verse first. Reciting is most important part. So, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Anashritah Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Yah Sah Sannyasi Cha Yogi Cha Na Niragni Na Cha Akriyah. Bhagavan, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Lord Krishna says. What does he say? Yah, the one who. Yah means the one who. Karma phala, result of action. Anasritah, not driven by ends in view. Karyam, that is to be done. Action, karoti. Action is karma. Karma is action. Karoti means perform. Saha means he or she. There is no description. Anybody, he or she, anyone can be a jigyasu. There is no discrimination. Everybody, no age is not the bar. There is no discrimination for jigyasa. Even a child can be a jigyasu. A young boy can be a jigyasu. It is very good if a young boy comes and says, I want to know. A man can be a jigyasu. Old man can be a jigyasu. A person who is on the deathbed can be a jigyasu. So there is no discrimination for a jigyasu. One can be jigyasu any time. Sannyasi, renunciated, cha, and also yogi, the one who has contemplative mind. Cha and na is not. Niragana, the one who has renounced all fire rituals. Na, not. Cha means and. Akriyaha, the one who does not perform any other action. Bhagavan says, the one who performs action that is to be done, not driven by the ends in view, he is sannyasi and a yogi as well. And not just the sannyasi who has renounced all the fire ritual and who does not perform any other action. The one who performs action that is to be done, not driven by ends. Matlab, the one who performs action but not for the results. There is no expectation of result. He just keeps on doing the karmas which are to be done. He does only because they are to be done. That is why he does them. There is no desire for him. There is no desire for karma phala for this kind of person, he is a sannyasi, a yogi as well. He is a yogi because he is doing karma, that is why he is a yogi. And sannyasi because he is not desirable, he is not desired for anything. He is not doing karma, he is not actually doing karma. He knows this. जो कर्म नहीं कर रहा है, यहां पर द वन हु परफॉर्म्स एक्शन का मतलब है वो जो कर्म तो करता है पर किसी फल की इच्छा नहीं करता। कोई इच्छा ही नहीं है वो फल के लिए या किसी रिजल्ट के लिए कर्म नहीं करता, क्योंकि कर्म करना है इसीलिए कर्म करता है। He is a sannyasi and a yogi as well, and not just the sannyasi who has renounced all the fire rituals. He is not, वो सिर्फ सन्यासी नहीं है जिसने कर्म छोड़ दिए, renounced all karmas. No, he is not a sannyasi. And who does not perform any other action, he is a karta. A means, sadhana to an end, sadhya can be with reference to anything. Sadhana to an end. There are even means for gaining imprisonment, such as breaking the law. However, when what is to be accomplished is freedom from bondage, हम सब की चाहत है freedom from bondage, ये बंधन से मुक्त होना, freedom from samsara. The sadhana is twofold, external and internal. As we have seen, performing karma as yoga is called karma yoga, is the external means. Bahiranga sadhana. Both the internal and external means are meant to prepare the mind, antakaran. All the karmas are to be performed for antakaran shuddhi. Antakaran is for knowledge, moksha. Generally speaking, one can say that meditation gives you steadiness of mind. चित्त निश्चल्य, निश्चल होना। मेडिटेशन से स्थिरता आना। The mind is always in the state of flux, chala. The mind is always moving. 1 second this thought, 1 second that thought, 1 second this thought. This is mind. This is what mind is. It keeps on moving from one thought to another, another thought to another, another thought to another. It never remains static. It is not steady. स्थिर नहीं है, मन स्थिर नहीं है। मन में विचार, कल्पनाएं होती रहती हैं, चलती रहती है, एक के बाद एक के बाद एक के बाद एक के बाद एक के बाद, रुकती नहीं है। मेडिटेशन इज टू ब्रिंग स्टेडीनेस. This is, one can say, that which is free from chalatva. The mind is always in the state of flux, chala. That which is free from chalatva is the state of being in flux, is called nischala. Steadiness of mind, also referred to as composure, is therefore called nischalya. The nature of being nischala, which means antaranga sadhana, called dhyana, meditation. Meditation is for antakarana nischalya, to bring steadiness in the mind. मन को स्थिर करने के लिए मेडिटेशन एक उपाय है. स्टेडीनेस ऑफ द माइंड. एंड कर्म योगा इज फॉर अंतःकरण शुद्धि, और कर्म योग है अंतःकरण शुद्धि के लिए, प्योरिफिकेशन ऑफ द माइंड. मेडिटेशन इज फॉर, ध्यान इज फॉर ब्रिंग स्टेडीनेस, निश्चलता लाने के लिए. मन को, मन में निश्चलता, मन के जो भागने का, उसको थोड़ा कंट्रोल करना. और कर्म योगा इज फॉर अंतःकरण शुद्धि, purification of the mind by freeing oneself from raga dvesha. Both these sadhanas are for moksha. Leading up to the topic of dhyana, which Krishna introduced in the last 3 verses of previous chapter, he again talks about karma yoga. In the first 2 verses of this chapter, karma yoga was also discussed in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th chapter and mentioned throughout the Gita as the means for gaining moksha. Here Krishna uses external means, karma yoga, to introduce the internal means, ध्यान, meditation. पहले, दूसरे, तीसरे, चौथे, 5वें चैप्टर के अंदर भगवान बार बार कर्म योग को डिस्कस कर रहे थे, कर्म योग के बारे में डिस्कशन करते रहे। कर्म योग, कर्म योग, कर्म 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 करना है और कर्म को योग बनाते हुए करना है, भगवान को अर्पित करते हुए कर्म करना है, भगवान को समर्पण के भाव से कर्म करना है, कर्म को कर्मयोग बनाना है। इस कर्म योग से अंतःकरण की शुद्धि होती। यहाँ भगवान इसको जोड़ रहे हैं मेडिटेशन से, कि अगर बाहर कर्म योग करेंगे तो अंदर ध्यान, मेडिटेशन हो पाएगा। प्यूरिफिकेशन ऑफ माइंड विल लीड टू निश्चल बुद्धि। एक शुद्ध और सात्विक बुद्धि में निश्चलता आ जाएगी, स्थिरता आ जाएगी। स्थिरता मेडिटेशन से आएगी और प्योरिटी, शुद्धता आएगी कर्मों को कर्म योग की तरह करने से। तो पहले, दूसरे, तीसरे, चौथे, 5वें चैप्टर में भगवान कह रहे हैं, भगवान ने डिस्कस किया प्योर, शुद्ध बुद्धि हो। जिसकी बुद्धि शुद्ध होगी वो मोक्ष की ओर जा सकेगा। अब यहाँ भगवान जोड़ रहे हैं जिसकी बुद्धि शुद्ध होगी और जिसकी बुद्धि स्थिर होगी। स्थिर भी होनी जरूरी है। शुद्ध होगी, शुद्ध बने बाहर की साधना हो गई, शुद्ध करने में बाहर की साधना हो गई। अब स्थिर करेंगे, बुद्धि स्थिर करनी है। बुद्धि स्थिर करने के लिए मेडिटेशन है। इंट्रोड्यूस द इंटरनल मीन्स ध्यान, मेडिटेशन। कर्मा टू बी डन। In this verse, karma refers to any type of action that is to be done. How does the person under discussion performs this action without depending on the result of various ends of action? The person does what is to be done. For this person, karma phala alone is not the principal criteria of performing action. Whereas for kami, the personal likes and dislikes are only factors that determine what is has to do. No other creation is taken into account. No other criteria is taken into account. A kami purush does his karma only for desire, fulfillment of desires. There is no other purpose of him for doing karma. Whereas for karma yoga, the man performs action which are to be performed. He doesn't perform it for any fulfillment of desire or karma phala. Karma phala is not the criteria for a karma yogi. He has raga dveshas. The kami has the ragas and dveshas that must be fulfilled. The person, the kami, is go-getter, always busy trying to accomplish or acquire something, and in the process of fulfilling the raga dvesha, the person cannot care about dharma and adharma. A kami purush never takes care about dharma or adharma. He is not bothered about any dharma, whether it is dharma or adharma. He just wants to achieve the desired result, right or wrong, since these are not the governing factors. because for him dharma, right, wrong is not the matter. It doesn't matter for him. What matters for him is fulfillment of desire only. Raga dvesha being the only criteria for performing action, the kami karmi is one who is completely dependent on the result of action. Karma phala asaritha. And these are the very tendencies that a karma yogi has to give up. Otherwise, he is still a karmi. Only karmi, not karma yogi. So for becoming a karma yogi, one has to first give up the raga dveshas, the attachment with the karma phalas. The karma yogi is not a person who has no raga dvesha. He is someone who has raga dvesha but gives them up. The one who before renouncing the action, first renounce the ragas and dveshas. He is a karma yogi. The one who has raga dvesha, but he gives them up, meaning that he does not go by them. He is not bound with the ragas and dveshas. Instead of going by, I must get this, I must not get that, the karma yogi goes by what is to be done. In other words, he gives up the desire for this and that and performs whatever action that is to be done according to dharma and adharma, not going by his or her raga dvesha. In this way, one raga dveshas are given up to an extent, and those that remain are pursued and fulfilled according to dharma. So karma yogi has raga dveshas, but he gives them up. He doesn't go with them. He doesn't do karma for them, for fulfilling his ragas and dveshas. Therefore, he does all the karma according to dharma. And when he does, whatever result he gets is according to dharma. And he is happy with that result. Conformity of dharma. In fulfilling any desire, there is a choice involved in both the means and the ends. The choice themselves are determined by one's and ragas and dveshas, which need not necessarily conform to right and wrong. Sometimes one's raga dveshas will conform to right and wrong, but more often they may not. What then is a person to do? This will depend on whether he is a karma yogi. If the person is not karma yogi, he will not care about the means and ends, but he will simply say, I want this, therefore I will get it. Such a person is karmi. One who follows whatever means that are necessary to accomplish is chosen, and the approach of karma yogi is different, often implying some renunciation on one's part, the main criteria being conformity with dharma and adharma. The karma yogi renounces his or her raga dvesha and does whatever is to be done without being guided by likes and dislikes. When the person says this is to be done, therefore I do it whether I like it, it means that the person is renouncing certain ragas and dveshas, the result of action, and is a kind of sannyasi. This is why Bhagavan says here that such a person is both sannyasi and karma yogi. The karma yogi is not complete sannyasi, but has a quality of sannyasi in terms of his or her renunciation of ragas and dveshas. The one who renounces his ragas and dveshas is also a sannyasi, but not a complete sannyasi. He has given the one जिसने अपने लाइक्स एंड डिसलाइक्स त्याग दिए हों, जो कर्म को लाइक्स और डिसलाइक्स के मापदंड से नहीं बल्कि करना है इसीलिए करता है, वो कर्म योगी भी सन्यासी है, पर पूर्ण सन्यासी नहीं, सन्यासी है। द वैल्यू ऑफ वैल्यूज, anything that anyone want is very important to that person. Someone says I am unhappy and go for certain pleasures. Here again the value of these pleasure is not adequately understood. Their limitations are not known and therefore they are overvalued. At the same time, the universal value also not being fully understood by the person are undervalued. They are devalued. It means that while we have knowledge of value, we have no education with the reference to them. The value of the values not being known, we do not have adequate knowledge of the value, and this situation creates conflict. Upon analysis of the value structure, we see that if the value of all the value is not known, the universal value naturally remains undervalued. See, you have to understand the value of what you want to do. Whether the action, the result of the action have certain value. Sometimes people don't know the value of the result. The pleasures, result means the pleasures. गुलाब जामुन खाना है, मीठा है, उसके कई वैल्यूज हैं। स्वाद है, मीठा है, फिर उसके कुछ और भी वैल्यूज हैं। अगर आपको, वो डिपेंड करता है आपकी अपनी परिस्थितियों पर। आपको शुगर है तो वो सब चीज़ें हानिकारक है। एक स्वस्थ पुरुष के लिए अच्छी है, जिसको शुगर की बीमारी है उसके लिए ये बिल्कुल वैल्यू। तो वैल्यू, अंडरस्टैंड वैल्यू इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। Value and things which people have a value for, like money and power, have exaggerated value. इसी तरह से पैसा, धन, संपत्ति, पावर बहुत ज़्यादा वैल्यू दिए हैं। जैसे रसगुल्ले को बहुत वैल्यू दिए, गुलाब जामुन को खाना है, खाना है, खाना है। स्वास्थ्य को वैल्यू देनी है या गुलाब जामुन को वैल्यू देनी है, उसी प्रकार however, even such values are clearly understood, they no longer have full value for us. Until then, the rule, power rules, money rules. जब तक उनकी सही वैल्यू नहीं समझ आएगी, तब तक till then they rule. उनका आपके ऊपर अधिकार रहेगा। गुलाब जामुन, आपको अपनी सेहत की वैल्यू नहीं नज़र आएगी, तब तक गुलाब जामुन की वैल्यू ज़्यादा रहेगी और वो आपके ऊपर हावी रहेंगे। Until then they rule, power rules, money rules, name and fame rules, influence rules, so they rule the roost of your heart. Values requires alertness. To understand the value structure well and to see the limitation of what you value, you need to live an alert life. A life of a karma yoga. Because raga dveshas are still alive in the karma yogi, what he values will have a hold over the person. Thus the karma yogi has to sacrifice his or her raga dvesha. The person may not be able to use the most convenient means available anymore, because he or her commitment now is to life of karma yoga for the sake of moksha. The person who has the value for moksha will only move in for karma yoga, and the person who has karma yoga will understand the value structure. The Karma Yogi has a desire for knowledge which implies purification of the mind, Antakaran Shuddhi. If nothing else, one wants to be a mature person and accomplish that, the person will definitely have to sacrifice something. The cause of conflict, Vikshepa Hetu, is what has to be sacrificed here. The person gives up the seed of conflict. The cause for conflict means one gives up doing wrong actions. For Karma Yogi, there is no conflict. He does what is to be done. There is no conflict. He is not expecting any result. He has no raga dveshas, likes and dislikes. He just does the karma because it is to be done, and he is happy with whatever karma phala he gets. Conflict begins even before doing a wrong action. Should I do it or should I not? In fact, there is always conflict before doing, while doing and after doing. Before doing, there is the conflict whether to do it. While doing, you have to look to both sides, especially if you are stealing something. And after doing, there is a conflict when the police come looking for you. However, if you perform action in accordance with the dharma, you sacrifice your raga dvesha. Then what happens? Before doing, there may be a conflict because you have to make a choice in order to avoid doing wrong. Starting में conflict होगा, whether I should do it or not do it. Then you will just think if it is right and if it is to be done, a karma yogi will do it. Before doing, there may be a conflict because you may have to make a choice in order to avoid doing wrong. गलत ना कर दें, इसलिए आपके पास choice है. Doing the right thing is not always spontaneous, because if there is a choice to be made on your part, there is a conflict. However, once you have done the right thing, there is no conflict. So the karma yogi may start with the conflict but does not end with the conflict. In this way, both the sannyasi and karma yogi are free from the spell of raga, dveshas. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna that by doing what is to be done without depending on one's likes and dislikes, a person is both a sannyasi and a yogi. Further, Bhagavan says, renunciation of the twofold activities. Krishna then goes on to describe what this person is not. Na niraghnaha, na cha akhariyah. Akhariyah. These two expressions refers to twofold activities given by the person who takes to life of sannyasa. Vedic karma, scripturally enjoyed activity. Scripturally enjoyed activities and not laukic activities. Laukic karma, all other activities. He enjoys all activities, spiritually, laukic. Before becoming a sannyasi, the person performs certain daily and occasional Vedic rituals. Nitya Naimitik karmas. All Vedic rituals imply fire, Agni, and because a sannyasi no longer performs fire ritual, the person is referred to in this verse as Niragnihi. The sannyasi gives up all other activities, all forms of worship, familial duties and business. In other words, he has no more role to play as son or daughter, as a parent, as a friend, as a citizen. Thus, the person is also referred to here as Akharya, one who has given up all activities. When person has given up, scripturally enjoyed the world. When a person has given up, scripturally enjoined and worldly activities, scripturally enjoined and worldly activities as part of ritual of sannyasa, he is called sannyasi. The one who has whatever is scripturally enjoined, which is written in scripture, and worldly activities, all activities, as part of ritual of sannyasa, he is called sannyasi. Why did you become a sannyasi is a very interesting question. This is what people ask our Swamiji. Why did you, Swamiji, why did you become Swami? Each Swami has his or her own story. And if the story is not very pleasant one, the Swami is not likely to answer the question. Nevertheless, there is always a reason. The person may have lost his business and had nowhere to go. Lose all your business and become Swami. ताकि बैंक वाले आकर के पैसा नहीं मांगे. A person can even become a sannyasi by mail these days. Swamiji, this is what Swamiji is saying. Swamiji was told. The point here is that if person takes a life of sannyasa by choice, it does not mean that his or her raga dveshas are gone. If nothing else, the person may have the desire to save people by teaching them without really knowing what is it all about. ऐसा भी सन्यासी हैं. Just because they don't have anything else to do, let's start teaching. पैसा कमाने के लिए पढ़े. इसमें हमारे स्वामी जी ने एक बात बोली. धन कमाने के लिए पढ़ाना. अगर धन कमाने के लिए पढ़ाना है तो पढ़े कहाँ? जब आपने पढ़ा ही नहीं तो फिर पढ़ाएंगे क्या? नहीं समझ में आया. अगर पढ़ लिया तो धन कमाने की जरूरत कहाँ है? और पढ़ाई नहीं तो पढ़ाएंगे क्या? क्या पढ़ाने आए हैं? धन के लिए पढ़ाना नहीं है, पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू टीच फॉर मनी. नॉट पॉसिबल. Because if you have really studied Shastra, really, see, I am using the word really, then there is धन के लिए पढ़ाना खत्म हो जाता. धन ही खत्म हो जाता. There is no धन required. तो धन के लिए पढ़ाना, इसका मतलब आप पढ़े ही नहीं. और जब आप पढ़े ही नहीं तो आप पढ़ा क्या रहे हैं? कैसे पॉसिबल है धन के लिए पढ़ाना? लेट्स लीव दिस पॉइंट हियर. If nothing else, the person may have the desire to save people. Oh, you want to save people, that is why you are teaching them without really knowing what is it all about. Often such people say, I have a burning desire to save the people, to serve the people. Oh my God. To serve the people. So the question must be asked, is this really a desire to save people or to save oneself? देखिए साहब, स्वामी जी यहाँ पर बहुत बड़ा प्रश्न छोड़ गए हैं उन लोगों के लिए जो लोग दूसरों को पढ़ाने के लिए आ रहे हैं. देश, उस लोगों को बचाना है. So the question must be asked, is this really a desire? सब आप उनसे पूछिए, क्या आपकी इच्छा लोगों को बचाने की है या अपने आप को? महाराज, surely to save the people one should first save oneself. What service can one give when one requires all the services? Some people are so full of raga dveshas, but they are unable to understand even this simple fact. Therefore, taking sannyasa does not mean that person becomes sannyasi in the true sense of the word. Further, Bhagwan Krishna says, in his next verse, ये बात बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि देखिए सही टीचर का मिलना ज़रूरी है. और सही टीचर की परख शास्त्र ही करता है। एक ज्ञानी की परख भी शास्त्र करता है। मैं सब लोगों को बचाने जा रहा हूं। अरे आप अपने आप को बचाइए महाराज, क्योंकि अभी आप खुद बचने के फराक में हैं। बचा कौन सकता है? जिसे खुद बचने की जरूरत नहीं है। वो बचा सकता है जो सिर्फ भगवान बचा सकते हैं, सिर्फ भगवान पढ़ा सकते हैं, दूसरा तो कोई पढ़ा ही नहीं सकता। फिर टीचर कौन होगा? जो टीचर सही मायने में टीचर होगा वो भगवान ही होगा, दूसरा कोई हो ही नहीं सकता। भगवान ही पढ़ा सकते हैं और टीचर ही भगवान है। जो सही टीचर होगा वो भगवान, क्योंकि वो किसी जरूरत से नहीं पढ़ा रहा, वो सिर्फ पढ़ा रहा होगा। और हम तो जी पढ़ रहे हैं, पढ़ा नहीं रहे। हमारे को स्वामी जी ने पढ़ाना है, पढ़ा रहे हैं और हम पढ़ रहे हैं। हम पढ़ा नहीं रहे, हम पढ़ रहे हैं। अगले श्लोक में भगवान कहते हैं, फर्दर भगवान सेज, यम संन्यासमिति प्रहुयोगम तम विधि पांडवा नहि असन्यासत संकल्पो योगी भवति कश्चन। यम संन्यासम इति प्रहुरोग्यम तम विधि पांडवा न हयसन्न यत संकल्पो योगी भवति कश्चन। What they say as renunciation, what know that to be karma yoga. What they say as renunciation, know that to be karma yoga, Pandava. Because anyone who has not given up desire for limited result like heaven etc. does not become a karma yogi. The one whose desires are still left is not a karma yogi even. जिसकी डिजायर्स स्वर्गलोक और अन्य लोकों की भी है, आश्रम बनाने की तो बात ही अलग है कि तो वो तो पृथ्वी पर ही है, इसी लोक में, मृत्यु लोक में है। The people whose desires are still left are not karma yogis even. This will be done. This Bhagavan is going to do. Discuss in this verse. Pandava, O son of Pandu, Arjuna, Yama, that which, Yama means that which, Sannyasam iti, as renunciation, Paruha, they say, Tam, that, Yogam, as Karma Yoga, Vidhi, known, he, because, Kaschanna, anyone, asanayastha sankalpa, who has not given up desires for limited results, even limited results like heaven and other lokas. Yogi, karma yogi, na bhavati, does not become. What they say as renunciation, know that to be karma yoga, Pandava, Arjuna, because anyone who has not given up desires for limited results like heaven etc. does not become a karma yogi. The person who becomes a karma yogi has to give up all sankalpas. even the Swarga Loka, even Dhruva Loka, even Brahma Loka is to be given up. Sankalpa for those which provide impetus for all desire, the desire to earn money, to enhance the status of his or her family, to earn punya. Even punya is not required, sir. Although the Karma Yogi has given up all sankalpa, he continues to perform actions for the purification of the mind. If only the activities are given up and to not the sankalpa, the person is neither the Karma Yogi nor a sannyasi. See, a Karma Yogi continues to do the karma, but there is no sankalpa, there is no desire left in him. If a person is doing karma, if doing service, if doing seva, if he is doing seva without any sankalpa, not even for punya, not even for punya, अगर कोई सेवा कर रहे हैं और उसकी पुण्य की भी इच्छा नहीं है, वो है सेवा, वो कर्म योगी है, जो सिर्फ कर्म कर रहा है करने के लिए, ना तो उसे पुण्य चाहिए, ना उसे कोई फल चाहिए, ना धन चाहिए, ना कुछ चाहिए, वो है कर्म योगी। और अगर वो किसी पुण्य के लिए, किसी डिजायर के लिए कर्म करता है, तो वो ना तो कर्म योगी है ना सन्यासी है। हाउ डज अ कर्म योगी रिनाउंस ऑल his or her sankalpas? By giving up only those ragas, dveshas that are opposed to dharma and adharma. Whereas Paramartha sannyasi, the real sannyasi, gives up totally the raga, dveshas and karma. How does the sannyasi do this? He does this by giving up notion of doership through knowledge. एक कर्म योगी, the कर्म योगी gives up his ragas and dveshas, gives up his desires that are opposed to dharma and adharma. He is a karma yogi who does karma according to, because they are to be done, he does them, not for any result. Whereas Paramartha sannyasi, the real sannyasi, he gives up even the kartatva, doership. Whereas in Karma Yogi abhi bhi karma karta hai, and he takes the result, he owes the result also, because he has that doership. उसके अंदर कर्तत्व है, इसीलिए उसको रिजल्ट भी मिलता है. बट जो पूर्ण सन्यासी है, परमार्थ सन्यासी, he does the karma without any doership. There is no kartatva, no doership left in him, and he has released this doership through knowledge. The notion of doership is gone through knowledge. In this verse, Krishna used the word sannyasi to mean the person who has taken sannyasa to pursue knowledge. Because both the karma yogi and sannyasi give up all sankalpa, he equates the two here. Since both the sannyasis and karma yogi have to give up sankalpa, yogi is a kind of sannyasi. A karma yogi is a kind of sannyasi, but not paramartha sannyasi. He is a sannyasi, but not paramartha sannyasi, because he still has that doership of the karma. The topic of renunciation in terms of karma yoga was also discussed by Krishna at the beginning of 5th chapter. As an introduction to this discussion on sannyasa, real sannyasa, here the topic is meditation, dhyana yoga. यहाँ पर topic है ध्यान yoga, for which you also require karma yoga. To have dhyana yoga, you need karma yoga also. So Krishna is praising karma yoga as opposed to mere sannyasa, which is simply giving up action. Even though meditation is something that one can do by one's will, it is not effective unless the mind is ready for it. That is why Bhagwan is always pursuing for Karma Yoga. The mind's capacity to stay with itself or with the object of meditation is what we call Dhyana Yoga. Karma Yoga is the means for preparing the mind and is therefore the means for Dhyana Yoga. So there is a connection between Karma Yoga and Dhyana Yoga. The external and internal means for moksha. This is what Bhagwan is trying to explain. By doing Karma Yoga, the mind is purified. And purified mind is ready to become sthir. This is how it was started. Purified mind is ready for becoming sthir. When mind is purified, it becomes sthir and is ready for dhyana, ready for knowledge. First Karma Yoga for purification of mind, then meditation for sthir mind. Pure mind, sthir mind attains knowledge. This in verse number 3 we will further say, when Bhagwan points out how Karma Yoga is means of Dhyana Yoga, we will further analyze this with Swamiji's discussion, commentary, and with whatever I have gained through Swami Prabodhananda Bhagwan. He is still every day, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, he teaches the beautiful texts which you must all listen. They are on YouTube as Upanishads from Swami Prabodhananda, and the Upanishads he is taking is Ishavasya Upanishad, and he is taking this Gita, Bhagavata Gita also, and he is taking Chandogya Upanishad also. These are the beautiful texts. We have finished with him Brahma Sutras and Taittiriya Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad. Beautiful text, and he is the best teacher because he is a real teacher. That is why I say Bhagavan to him. He doesn't know this, but he is Bhagavan. He is incarnation of God. If you really want to see God, he is the living God today. Because he is only the teacher of topic. He is the true teacher. He never deviates from the topic. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyati Purnasya Purnimadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.